What if I told you that the secret to staying motivated, pushing through obstacles, and achieving your dreams is already within your reach? Every day, you have the power to shape your future with one simple practice: visualization. Imagine waking up each day knowing exactly what you're working toward, feeling motivated and driven to take action no matter what challenges come your way. Today, I'm going to show you how to tap into that power, how to create a clear vision for your success, and how to make it real. We all have dreams, but so many of us struggle to stay focused or keep going when things get tough. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often in how they visualize their journey. So, if you're ready to take control of your future and unlock your potential, keep watching. This is where everything changes. Chapter 1. Develop clear daily goals to guide your focused actions. There's a moment every morning that quietly determines the direction of your day. It's not loud, dramatic, or complicated. It's a quiet choice. Will you drift into the day and react to whatever shows up, or will you direct it with intention and focus? Successful people don't leave this to chance. They don't wake up and simply hope they'll get something done. They start their days with clarity. They know what matters most, and they shape their actions around it. That kind of focus doesn't happen by accident. It's built by developing the habit of setting clear daily goals, and this one habit can change your life forever. When your goals are clear, your mind knows exactly what to aim for. You don't waste time guessing what's important. You don't get pulled in 100 different directions. You move forward. You build momentum. You build discipline. You build a life that moves intentionally instead of chaotically. But if your goals are vague or non-existent, everything becomes noise. You scroll, you drift, you react to whatever gets your attention, and the day passes without purpose. You feel busy, but nothing meaningful gets done. And at night, you feel the weight of another wasted day. That slow erosion of potential becomes heavy over time. This chapter is about breaking that cycle forever. It's about taking back control of your direction, your energy, and your outcomes by making daily goals a part of who you are. This is not about creating a to-do list filled with random tasks. It's about setting intentional goals that align with your deepest values and long-term vision. To begin, you must know what you want from your life. Not in a vague, wishful way, but in a brutally honest, clear, and practical way. What kind of person do you want to become? What skills do you want to develop? What results do you want to create? If you can't answer those questions clearly, setting daily goals will feel pointless. So take time to reflect. You don't need perfect answers, you just need direction. Once you know your direction, your daily goals become the steps that carry you there. And here's the truth: daily goals don't have to be big, they just have to be meaningful. A single focused action, done consistently, can compound into massive results. But it has to be done with intent. Start each morning by asking yourself one simple question: what are the 3 most important things I need to accomplish today to move closer to the life I want? That question cuts through noise. It forces clarity. It eliminates busy work. You don't need to write 10 or 20 things. You need to focus on what actually matters. Now take those 3 priorities and break them down into specific actions. Don't just write, work on project or exercise. Be exact. What task will you complete? For how long? Where will you do it? The more specific your goals are, the easier it is to take action. Ambiguity leads to avoidance. Clarity leads to movement. One powerful tool is time blocking. Once you've defined your 3 key actions, assign specific times to do them. This removes the mental friction of deciding when to work. It also protects your focus from distractions. If something is truly important, it deserves time on your calendar. Treat it like a non-negotiable meeting with your future self, and remember, life is unpredictable. Things will come up. That's normal. The goal isn't to control every minute. It's to create enough structure so that your most important actions don't get lost in the chaos. When the unexpected happens, you adjust, but you return to your priorities. That's how self-mastery is built. Another key principle is tracking your progress. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to review. Did you complete your 3 goals? What got in the way? What worked? What didn't? This reflection builds self-awareness and helps you improve. It also gives you a sense of momentum. When you can look back and see progress, even in small steps, your belief in yourself grows. Over time, this habit compounds. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to show up with more focus and less hesitation. You stop waiting for motivation and start depending on your structure. That's what successful people do. They don't rely on mood, they rely on systems. Clear goals are one of the most powerful systems you can build. And make no mistake, this is a discipline. It's easy to skip goal setting. It's easy to let the day pull you in every direction. It takes courage and commitment to choose what matters and protect your time. But the reward is peace of mind, confidence, and real progress. One challenge many people face is feeling overwhelmed by too many goals. That's why you must learn to simplify. Not everything needs to be done today. Not everything deserves your attention. You must get ruthless about eliminating what doesn't move you forward. Every goal you set should answer one question. Does this help me become the person I'm trying to be? If the answer is yes, focus on it. If the answer is no, let it go. Every time you say no to something that doesn't matter, you're saying yes to something that does. That's how clarity is built. One decision at a time. The habit of setting daily goals also sharpens your ability to prioritize. Life is full of options, but not all options are equal. You must learn to see the difference between what's urgent and what's important. Urgency screams for attention, but importance shapes your future. Successful people prioritize what's important before it becomes urgent. And here's something most people never realize. Setting daily goals is an act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, my time matters. My future matters. I refuse to drift. That mindset separates people who grow from those who stay stuck. When you start building this habit, you'll notice resistance. Your mind will tell you it's not working. It will urge you to take the easy route. That's normal. Every new habit requires pushing through discomfort before it becomes natural. But if you stay with it, if you keep showing up, even when it's inconvenient, you'll begin to change from the inside out. The results won't always show up right away, but the internal transformation starts immediately. You begin to walk taller. You begin to think more clearly. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes control instead of making excuses. And that identity shift is the foundation of every meaningful success. Daily goal setting also creates emotional clarity. When you know what you're aiming for, your mind becomes less anxious. You stop second-guessing your decisions. You stop comparing your progress to others. You stay grounded in your own mission. That emotional calm creates space for deeper focus and better decisions. Here's a simple exercise to start today. Before you check your phone, before you open your email, before you let the world in, sit down with a blank piece of paper. Write the date. Then write, what are the 3 most important things I will do today? Fill in your answers. Be specific. Then write, why are these important? Connect your actions to your deeper purpose. This takes 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes can shift your entire day. As you continue this practice, you'll notice patterns. You'll see what you avoid. You'll see what tasks bring you energy. You'll understand yourself better. And that self-understanding gives you power. The more clearly you see your patterns, the more intentionally you can direct them. Another benefit of setting daily goals is that it teaches you how to work through resistance. Every meaningful goal will come with discomfort, but when you've already decided what matters, you're more likely to push through the resistance instead of giving into it. Clarity makes discomfort manageable. You'll also build something rare in today's world: focus. Most people are distracted by everything. Their attention is split, their minds are cluttered, and their results are mediocre. But when you have clear goals, you train your brain to focus deeply. And that deep focus is a superpower. It's what allows you to produce real work, make real progress, and feel real satisfaction. Eventually, setting daily goals won't feel like a chore. It will feel like a ritual, a moment of alignment, a way to remind yourself that you are in control. And when life gets hard, and it will, you'll have something to return to. You'll have a structure. You'll have a foundation. You don't need perfect goals. You don't need perfect days. You just need to show up consistently with clarity and intention. That's how transformation begins, not in one dramatic moment, but in the quiet repetition of doing what matters every single day. This is your life. No one is coming to design it for you. No one is going to hand you clarity. You have to create it. And it starts with one simple decision. Set clear goals every morning. Protect your focus. Follow through. The habit of setting daily goals is not just about productivity. It's about becoming the kind of person who lives with purpose. It's about waking up each day and choosing to move forward, no matter how small the step. It's about building a life of direction, resilience, and meaning. Start today. Choose 3 things that matter. Do them with full focus. Reflect at the end of the day. Repeat tomorrow. Over time, this simple practice will reshape your life. You'll no longer be pulled by distraction. You'll no longer be ruled by emotion. You'll move with calm intensity and clear direction. And when others wonder how you're able to stay consistent, how you're always growing, how you seem to know exactly what you're doing, you'll smile quietly. Because you'll know it wasn't magic. It was clarity. It was intention. It was one small decision made every morning. That's the power of setting daily goals. It's how successful people move through the world. It's how you build a life you're proud of. And it starts right now. Chapter 2. Commit to continuous learning through reading and skill practice. You're falling behind, and the worst part is, you know it. Somewhere deep inside, you feel it every time you scroll through your phone instead of picking up that book. You feel it when you avoid the work that could actually make you better. You feel it when another day passes, and you haven't learned a single thing that pushes you closer to who you could become. And here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud, if you're not learning, you're decaying. You're not standing still. You're sinking slowly, quietly, until one day you look around and realize life moved on without you. And you're still stuck exactly where you were 5 years ago. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't need to know everything today. You just need to make a decision. Right now, a decision to commit, not half-heartedly, not when it's convenient, but fully, ruthlessly, obsessively, to continuous learning. Because everything you want, more confidence, more skills, more respect, more opportunities, is on the other side of becoming more valuable. And the only way to become more valuable is to invest in yourself like your life depends on it. Because it does. Most people think they're too busy to learn, but the truth is, they're too distracted, they're too reactive, they're too addicted to comfort. So they watch other people pass them by, people who read, people who practice, people who sharpen their minds like weapons every single day. And it eats at them, because deep down, they know they could have done the same, but they didn't. And if that's you, this is your wake-up call. Reading isn't about looking smart. It's not about collecting quotes or sounding impressive. It's about opening new doors in your mind. It's about accessing the thoughts of geniuses across centuries. It's about seeing the world from new angles so you can respond to life with more clarity, more wisdom, more control. Every book you finish adds another weapon to your mental arsenal. Every chapter you study prepares you to outthink, outmaneuver, and outperform your former self. And it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start. You don't need the perfect book. You don't need 100 strategies. You need to pick one area of your life, your mindset, your craft, your habits, and dive deep. Learn until you can teach it. Practice until it becomes who you are. But reading alone isn't enough. Knowledge without action is just mental hoarding. If you want real transformation, you have to move from theory to practice. Skill development is the bridge between what you know and what you can do. And that bridge is built through repetition, through failure, through deliberate, focused effort. The people you admire didn't get there by accident. They didn't stumble into mastery. They practiced. While others wasted time, they were refining their edge. While others avoided discomfort, they embraced it. They built their skills brick by brick, day by day, until excellence wasn't just something they hoped for, it was something they became. And that can be you. But you've got to stop waiting to feel ready. You've got to stop telling yourself you're not good enough. Of course you're not good enough yet. That's the point. That's why you start. That's why you keep going. Growth doesn't ask for perfection. It demands persistence. You'll have days when you feel like nothing's changing. You'll wonder if it's even working. But what you don't see is what's happening beneath the surface. Every book you read, every skill you sharpen, every hour you invest in yourself, it's building something inside you. It's rewiring your brain. It's strengthening your identity. It's planting seeds that will bloom when you least expect it. Most people quit before they see the results. They want fast rewards. They want shortcuts. But real growth doesn't work like that. It's earned, quietly, privately, in the early mornings and late nights when no one is watching, in the choices you make when no one is clapping for you. That's when character is forged. That's when winners are made. And if you stay committed, truly committed, you'll notice something strange. The things that once felt hard will feel natural. The information that once overwhelmed you will start to click. Your instincts will sharpen. Your confidence will rise, not because you're pretending, but because you've earned it. And when life throws challenges at you, as it always will, you'll have the skills, the mindset, and the strength to handle them. This isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than the version of you who keeps settling. It's about proving to yourself that you can change, that you can grow, that you can take control of your evolution. You want more out of life. Learn more, practice more, read things that stretch your thinking. Try things that scare you. Do the hard work that most people avoid. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you rise. And make no mistake, you are in competition. Not with other people, but with your own laziness, your own procrastination, your own fear. Every day is a battle between the part of you that wants comfort and the part of you that craves greatness. And every time you choose to learn instead of distract, to practice instead of escape, you're feeding the part of you that wins. The reason most people never change is because they never fully commit. They dabble, they try for a week, then quit. They wait for motivation, then wonder why nothing changes. But if you want this, if you really want to break out of the cycle you're stuck in, you have to burn the option of going back. You have to make learning a non-negotiable part of your identity. You are either growing or you're dying. There is no neutral. When you commit to continuous learning, you become dangerous. Not in a reckless way, but in a focused, unstoppable way. You start to see through lies. You recognize patterns. You make smarter moves. You create opportunities. You become someone who isn't easily shaken. Because your foundation is built on knowledge, skill, and discipline. You start to attract better people, better results, better conversations. Because you're not the same as you were before. You've changed. You've upgraded. And people can feel it. But it starts with one choice. Pick up the book. Study the craft. Build the skill. Be relentless. Be consistent. Be the kind of person who refuses to let another day pass without getting better. Because every single day is a chance to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And if you don't take it, someone else will. And when they do, they'll live the life you were too lazy to earn. Don't let that happen. Don't waste another year telling yourself you'll start soon. The best time was yesterday. The second best time is right now. So here's what you do tonight. Choose one book that aligns with your goals. Set aside 30 minutes to read. No phone, no distractions. Take notes. Reflect. Tomorrow, choose one skill you've been avoiding. Block out time to practice it. No excuses. No multitasking. Track your progress. Repeat the process daily. Make it your ritual. Make it your identity. Because this isn't just about learning. It's about taking back your power. The world will constantly try to distract you, numb you, pacify you. But when you choose to grow, you take control. You become the author of your evolution, not a passive character in someone else's story. And when you look back a year from now, after hundreds of pages, hours of practice, and thousands of decisions to show up when it was easier not to, you won't recognize the person you used to be. You'll be sharper, stronger, wiser, and you'll carry a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you earned every bit of it. So stop waiting. Start reading. Start practicing. Start becoming. This is how you win. This is how you rise. This is how you finally become the person you were meant to be. And if you feel that fire burning in your chest right now, don't let it fade. Channel it. Use it. Make the decision that changes everything. Start today. Start now. Chapter 3. Prioritize health by exercising regularly and fueling energy well. You are tired, and you think it's normal. You think dragging yourself through the day, yawning by noon, reaching for sugar or caffeine just to survive, is just part of being an adult. You've convinced yourself that feeling exhausted is a personality trait, that the brain fog is just how life works now, that back pain, low energy, and mood swings are things you just have to live with. But here's the truth that's hard to swallow. It's not normal. You're not tired because of your job. You're tired because your body is begging for help, and you're not listening. You are not weak. You are not broken, but you're out of alignment. Your body is trying to tell you that something's wrong, and until you face it, no amount of motivation videos or productivity hacks will change how you feel. Because if your body's drained, your mind is too. If your health is crumbling, your future is at risk. You cannot be your best self if your body is barely surviving. You can't lead, think, love, or create from a place of fatigue. And you know this. Every time you avoid movement, every time you numb yourself with food that poisons instead of fuels, every time you skip the basics that your body needs, you feel it. You lose sharpness, you lose clarity, you lose control, and eventually you lose confidence. Not because you're lazy, but because your body is no longer working for you. It's working against you, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You don't need to become an elite athlete. You don't need six-pack abs or a perfectly sculpted frame. You need vitality. You need to wake up feeling like your body is on your side, not against you. You need to restore your energy so you can think clearly, move powerfully, and live like you mean it. That starts with one decision: to take back control of your health. It's not about punishment, it's about permission. You give yourself permission to feel good again, to move with strength, to eat like you respect yourself, to create a body that supports your mission instead of holding it hostage. Because here's what they never taught you: your body is the foundation of your future. If you ignore it, everything else crumbles. But if you invest in it, relentlessly, intentionally, consistently, it becomes your greatest weapon. You want more focus? Train. You want more drive? Fuel yourself. You want to lead, create, build, overcome, and win? You need a body that can carry the weight, because nothing matters if your health fails. Not the money, not the status, not the goals. If you can't move without pain, if you can't think without fog, if you can't live without regret, what's the point? This is your wake-up call. Stop settling for low energy. Stop telling yourself you don't have time. You don't have time not to prioritize this. The moments you spend taking care of your body are not a luxury, they're survival. And more than that, they're preparation. Every rep, every clean meal, every drop of sweat, it's not just about looking better. It's about becoming someone who doesn't quit on themselves. Someone who fights for their future. And you already know what needs to be done. You don't need a new program or a fancy gadget. You need discipline. You need a non-negotiable habit of movement. Daily. Whether it's 10 minutes or 2 hours, move your body. Don't wait until you feel like it. Do it because you owe it to yourself. Do it because your body is the only one you'll ever get. And when you treat it with respect, it rewards you with power. You'll feel it quickly. The stiffness starts to fade. The mind begins to clear. You start waking up without dread. Your posture improves. You breathe deeper. You walk taller. And that momentum seeps into every area of your life. The confidence you earn in the gym follows you into your relationships. The resilience you build during a run helps you endure difficult conversations. The self-trust you develop by keeping your promise to train bleeds into your goals. You stop backing down. You stop negotiating with weakness. You become sharper, calmer, more stable. And let's talk about food. Not as an enemy, but as fuel. You don't need perfection. You need awareness. What you put into your body either strengthens or weakens you. Every bite is a vote for the kind of life you want. You can't pour junk into your system and expect clarity, energy, or strength. It doesn't work like that. You wouldn't put cheap oil into a Ferrari and expect it to perform like a champion. So why treat your body worse than a machine? Start with water. Start with whole foods. Eat real meals, not chemical experiments. Choose what supports your mission, not what comforts your emotions. This isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. Because when you eat clean, you think clear. When you fuel well, you perform better. You sleep deeper. You feel lighter. You move without resistance. You make decisions faster. You speak with more power. You unlock a version of yourself that has been buried under years of neglect and excuses. And you know what happens when you start living this way. People notice. They feel the shift. You become magnetic. You become disciplined. You become a mirror for what others want, but haven't had the courage to pursue. Your energy becomes your brand. Your health becomes your superpower. And suddenly opportunities that once seemed distant start gravitating toward you. Not because of luck, but because you became the kind of person who's ready to handle them. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be committed. You need to stop making health an afterthought and start making it your foundation. Because when your health is in place, everything else becomes easier. You think faster. You sleep better. You push harder. You recover quicker. You operate like a machine that's designed to win. This is about building a body that matches your ambition. You say you want success, but does your body reflect it? You say you want to be your best, but are you treating your body like it matters? It's easy to talk about goals. It's harder to train for them. But that's what separates the talkers from the doers. The ones who say someday from the ones who decide now. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more lying to yourself that you'll start next week, next month, when things calm down. Things won't calm down. Life will always be full of noise. You've got to build your health in the chaos. You've got to create routines that protect your energy in the storm. You've got to train like your life depends on it. Because it does. And the best part, you don't need to wait to feel the change. One workout, one good meal, one night of deep sleep. That's all it takes to start remembering what it feels like to be alive. That's all it takes to start rebuilding the connection between your body and your mission. And once you feel that power again, once you remember what it's like to have control, you'll never go back. So here's your challenge. Tonight, move. Don't overthink it. Don't plan it perfectly. Just move, walk, stretch, lift, run. Do something that reminds your body that it matters. Eat one clean meal. Hydrate, sleep, and tomorrow do it again. Stack the wins. Build the momentum. Protect your energy like your future depends on it. Because it does. And the next time you feel tempted to skip your workout, to eat out of boredom, to stay up late numbing yourself with screens, pause. Ask yourself, is this feeding my future or draining it? Is this building my energy or breaking it? Is this honoring my potential or insulting it? You have one body, one shot, one life. Don't waste it coasting through fatigue, hiding behind excuses, and settling for a fraction of your power. Become someone whose energy commands attention. Become someone whose presence speaks louder than their words. Become someone who trains not just for aesthetics but for clarity, for focus, for life. This is your time. Fuel up, train hard, and show the world what happens when you prioritize your health like your life depends on it. Because it does. Chapter 4. Build resilience by embracing challenges and overcoming daily obstacles. You don't grow when life is easy. You grow when life tests you so hard that you're forced to decide who you truly are. Everyone wants to be strong until strength is the only option left. Everyone talks about resilience until life slaps them in the face and demands they rise anyway. The truth is, you don't really know who you are until you've been broken, until you've been overlooked, underestimated, pushed down, and still chose to get back up. That's where real resilience is born. Not in comfort, not in convenience, but in chaos, in failure, in frustration, in the days that punch you in the gut and dare you to stay standing. You can't build mental muscle in a world designed to keep you soft, but you can choose to lean into the pressure, to stop avoiding difficulty, to stop waiting for the perfect day, the perfect conditions, the perfect version of yourself to show up. You have to start now, where you are, with what you've got. No matter how messy it feels, no matter how unprepared you think you are, because challenges aren't roadblocks, they're invitations, and most people run from them. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they stay small. But that's not you. You are not here to live a watered-down version of yourself. You are not here to hide behind comfort and call it peace. You are here to face discomfort with your chin up and your fists ready. Because every time you do, you get sharper, you get tougher, you get wiser. You stop being a victim of life's chaos and start becoming the architect of your own strength. That's how resilience works. It doesn't show up before the storm. It shows up because of it. Your life is not going to be easy. You already know that. The question is, are you going to be ready for it? Are you going to build the kind of mind that bends but doesn't break, that adapts but doesn't fold, that bleeds but never bows? That's the kind of mindset that creates real transformation. That's the kind of person who doesn't just survive, they dominate, they overcome, they conquer. They thrive in situations that would crush most people, not because they're lucky, but because they've trained for it. And you train by facing difficulty every single day, not avoiding it. The obstacle in your path is the path. Every time something annoys you, every time someone disrespects you, every time you're overwhelmed, misunderstood, overlooked, that is your opportunity. To respond with strength instead of reactivity, to choose calm over chaos, to act from discipline, not emotion. That's where resilience grows, in the tiny daily choices most people ignore. That's where you win the inner war, but you have to rewire your thinking. You've been conditioned to avoid pain, to expect ease, to think something's wrong if things feel hard. That mindset keeps you weak, because life doesn't care how you feel. It responds to what you do, and what you do under pressure defines you, not what you do when it's easy. Anyone can show up when they feel good, but winners show up regardless. They fight through fatigue. They move through doubt. They show up even when no one's clapping, even when no one believes, even when nothing is going right. You don't need everything to be perfect. You need to get strong enough to handle imperfection without falling apart. You need to become the kind of person who doesn't need external validation to keep moving, who doesn't rely on motivation to act, who doesn't crumble when things get messy, uncertain or unfair, because those moments will come, again and again. And if you don't train for them now, you will break later. But here's the truth. Most people won't tell you. Resilience isn't built in the major life events. It's built in the moments you overlook. Waking up when you said you would. Doing the work even when you're tired. Speaking up when your voice shakes. Pushing through the last rep. Showing up with integrity even when no one's watching. These are the tiny victories that stack up into mental toughness. These are the moments that separate those who merely exist from those who dominate life. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to act anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear won't control you. And when you act through fear, when you move through pressure, when you stand tall in the face of failure, you create a level of internal strength that no one can take from you. Not life, not other people, not circumstances. Stop waiting for life to get easier. It won't. You need to get stronger. Stop wishing challenges away. Embrace them. Because on the other side of that challenge is a version of you that's been hidden by comfort and avoidance. A version that is calm under pressure, focused through chaos, relentless when others quit. But you only meet that version by going through the fire, not around it. And when the bad days hit, and they will, you've got to remember what you're made of. You've got to remind yourself that pain is not punishment. It's training. It's feedback. It's life asking, how bad do you want this? And every time you say, I'm not stopping, every time you say, I'll figure this out, every time you say, I don't quit, you get stronger. You become harder to break. You start moving differently, thinking differently, living differently. But you can't fake it. You've got to earn it. Day by day, choice by choice. You've got to condition your mind to lean into resistance, to find peace in the discomfort, to stop seeing difficulty as a curse and start seeing it as a mirror, because it will show you everything. Your doubts, your fears, your excuses, but also your potential, your grit, your power. You don't need to be superhuman. You need to be consistent. You need to show up with resilience even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because that's the edge most people never reach. That's the place most people run from. But not you. You are here to rise above the noise, to become someone who faces daily obstacles with resolve, not resentment. Someone who doesn't crumble when things go wrong, but rises. This isn't about pretending to be strong. It's about choosing strength when weakness would be easier. It's about turning pressure into fuel, struggle into strategy, pain into progress. That's the real game. That's what separates winners from watchers, builders from talkers, resilient people from broken ones. So the next time life throws something heavy at you, don't ask why me. Ask what now. Don't fold. Don't retreat. Lean in. Rise up. Use it. Because you've been through worse and survived. And that means you're already built for the battle. You just forgot. But now you remember. And now you rise. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. If you keep going, every problem is a lesson in disguise. If you're willing to learn, every hard day is a training ground for greatness. If you don't give up, so build your resilience like it's your life's mission. Face your daily obstacles like a warrior. Stop waiting for easy. Create strength through struggle, because no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You've got to build it. And that requires a mind that doesn't break under pressure. That requires a spirit that refuses to quit. This is your time. This is your moment. Embrace the challenge. Rise above the excuses. And remember, life is not testing you to break you. It's testing you to build you. So build, every day, with every step, until you become unstoppable, until you become unshakable, until you become unbreakable. The world needs that version of you. Chapter 5. Cultivate positive relationships by networking authentically and offering value. The truth is, you are only one real connection away from changing your entire life. One conversation, one handshake, one act of genuine value. That's all it takes to completely shift your trajectory. But here's the problem. Most people aren't building relationships. They're collecting contacts. They're chasing attention instead of offering value. They're networking like robots, not connecting like humans. And that's why they feel stuck. That's why they're invisible. That's why nobody opens doors for them, because they've never earned the key. If you want to build a powerful life, you cannot do it alone. No matter how strong you are, no matter how much talent you have, no matter how disciplined you become, the game changes the moment you surround yourself with people who see you, who challenge you, who believe in you. And those people, They don't show up by accident. They show up when you bring something real to the table, something honest, something valuable, something that says, I'm not here to take, I'm here to serve, because the world is filled with noise. Everyone's shouting for attention. Everyone's trying to be seen. But the ones who stand out, they listen, they give, they connect. Not because they want something, but because they understand that relationships built on value never fade. Those are the connections that change you. Those are the ones that lift you, elevate you, sharpen you. But you can't fake it. You can't manipulate it. You can't copy and paste your way to authentic influence. You've got to care for real. Start with the people around you, not the influencers, not the celebrities, not the ones with 1 million followers. Start with the ones who show up every day. The ones who are grinding, building, dreaming, like you. Offer your support. Share your knowledge. Make their life a little easier. Send that encouragement. Share that tool. Make the intro. Solve the problem. Be useful. Be honest. Be someone they remember, not because you wanted something, but because you gave something that mattered. That's how you build trust. That's how you build relationships that last. And don't let your ego block you from growing. Reach out to people who are ahead of you. Ask for guidance, but do it with humility. Don't just ask, can I pick your brain? Show them you've done the work. Show them you respect their time. Lead with value. Offer something before you ask for anything. Maybe it's insight. Maybe it's feedback. Maybe it's sharing their work, supporting their mission, amplifying their message. Whatever it is, make sure it's real. Make sure it's personal. Because that's the bridge that turns strangers into mentors and mentors into allies. You want to attract the right people. Become the kind of person they want around. Become reliable, disciplined, curious. Give more than you take. Build a reputation so strong that your name speaks for itself even when you're not in the room. That's how doors open. That's how opportunities find you without you having to chase them down. Because people don't forget the ones who brought value into their life when no one else did. But here's the secret most people miss. It's not about volume, it's about depth. You don't need 100 shallow connections. You need a few real ones. People who challenge your thinking, who hold you to a higher standard, who call you out when you're slipping, who remind you of your greatness when you forget. And you build those relationships through consistency, through honesty, through showing up even when there's nothing to gain. It's not sexy, it's not fast, but it's powerful, and it's rare. And when you start living this way, when you start genuinely investing in people, not for what they can do for you but for who they are, you begin to shift your entire life. You create a circle that feeds you instead of drains you. You attract opportunities you never saw coming. You build a foundation that doesn't crumble when life hits hard, because now you're not alone. Now you've got people in your corner who want to see you win because they've seen your heart. But you can't wait for them to show up. You've got to go first. You've got to be the initiator. You've got to be the one who reaches out, who checks in, who follows up. Don't just say, let me know if you need anything. Say, here's what I can do for you. Be specific. Be intentional. Be memorable. Because when you show people you're different, they treat you differently. And when it comes to building real relationships, never underestimate the power of follow-through. Everyone talks a big game. Everyone says they'll help, but few actually do. So be the exception. If you promise something, deliver. If you say you'll be there, show up. That consistency, that reliability, it compounds, it builds equity. And over time, people will trust you more than the ones who are louder, flashier, more polished, because you've proven you mean it. And remember, your energy introduces you before your words do. How you show up matters. Are you someone who lifts the room or drains it? Do you leave people feeling better after talking to you, or worse? Because people won't always remember what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So carry yourself with respect, with presence, with authenticity. Be the kind of person you would want in your life, because like attracts like. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about tactics. This is about transformation, about becoming so real, so intentional, so committed to adding value, that people gravitate toward you, that your network becomes your net worth, not just in money, but in meaning, in connection, in possibility. Because now, you're not chasing success, you're co-creating it with people who believe in you. And let's be real, life is hard. Dreams are heavy. There will be days you want to give up, moments when you question everything. And in those moments, it won't be the strategy or the skills that save you. It'll be the people, the relationships, the voices that remind you who you are, that pull you back up, that say keep going. That's why this matters. That's why cultivating authentic connections isn't optional, it's essential. So build with intention, connect with purpose, offer value without keeping score, and watch how your world begins to shift. Because when you operate from a place of genuine service, when you stop networking and start connecting, when you stop impressing and start impacting, that's when everything changes. And if you feel like you don't have the right people around you right now, don't panic. Start becoming the right person yourself. The people you want in your life are looking for you too. They just need to see you. And they will, when you start showing up with integrity, when you stop hiding your gifts, when you start speaking with clarity, and when you offer value without expectation. That's how movements begin. That's how tribes are formed. That's how legacies are built, not through force but through connection. So right now, ask yourself, who can I serve today? Who can I support without asking for anything in return? Who can I connect with, uplift, empower? Because that one act, that one decision, might be the very thing that unlocks everything you've been waiting for. Now go do it. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Now. Today. Be the person who reaches out. Be the one who offers value. Be the reason someone else believes in themselves again. And if you keep doing that, if you keep leading with service, with sincerity, with strength, don't be surprised when your entire life begins to shift. Because relationships built on authenticity always lead to elevation. This is how you grow. This is how you rise. Together. Let's build it. One real connection at a time. Let's go. Chapter 6. Manage time effectively by focusing on high-impact priorities. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're not doing what actually matters. And deep down, you know that. You know you're wasting your energy on things that don't move the needle. You know your time is slipping through your fingers. And every day you say, I'll fix it tomorrow, while tomorrow keeps running away. But what if I told you the most successful people aren't doing more? They're just doing what matters most. And they're doing it relentlessly. Every hour you spend doing things that don't align with your purpose is a quiet betrayal of the life you were meant to live. Every distraction you entertain, every low-value task you say yes to, every moment you give away to things that don't build your vision, those aren't just minor mistakes. They're the reason you feel behind. They're the reason your progress feels stuck. It's not that you're not capable. It's that your focus is fractured. And the truth is, time doesn't care about your excuses. It keeps ticking. It keeps moving forward whether you use it or waste it. The clock won't pause for you to get your act together. It won't rewind because you weren't ready. That's why you've got to take control. Now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel more motivated. Now, because if you don't choose your priorities, someone else will. Your phone will choose. Social media will choose. Other people's demands will choose. And before you know it, you'll be living on autopilot, reacting to life instead of building it. You'll be exhausted but unfulfilled. Busy but going nowhere. Constantly doing but never really progressing. That ends today. You've got to draw a line and say, no more. No more living by default. No more drowning in distractions. No more letting urgency steal the space meant for your true priorities. Because if everything is important, then nothing is. And if you don't take your time seriously, you can't expect your future to take you seriously either. So how do you shift? How do you stop running in circles and start moving with intention? It starts by getting brutally honest about where your time is going. Track it. Audit it. Face it. Stop lying to yourself about how busy you are and look at the cold, hard truth. You'll realize most of your day is filled with noise. Tasks that feel productive but aren't. Conversations that drain instead of build. Habits that numb you rather than sharpen you. And once you see that clearly, you take back your power. Next, you must redefine what productivity really means. Productivity isn't about checking more boxes. It's about checking the right ones. It's about doing less, but doing what matters with precision and full presence. One task done with clarity beats 10 done in chaos. One deep focus session crushes an entire day of distracted effort. But you've got to train yourself to focus like your life depends on it, because it does. And that means prioritizing impact over activity. What are the things that move your life, your goals, your mission forward? Identify them, protect them, build your day around them, make them non-negotiable. If you're not sure what they are, ask yourself, if I could only do 3 things today, what would truly matter? That question will save you from weeks, months, even years of wasted effort. And once you know what matters, you've got to guard your time like your future is on the line, because it is. Say no more often. Ruthlessly eliminate what doesn't align. Cut the noise. Create space. Because clarity doesn't live in clutter. Your best ideas, your deepest work, your sharpest thinking, it all comes from space. And most people never get there, because they're too busy being busy. But not you. Not anymore. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more intention in the hours you already have. You need to stop letting notifications dictate your focus. You need to stop chasing the illusion of multitasking. You need to sit down, breathe, and do one thing with full power. That's how you create momentum. That's how you start stacking real wins. That's how you feel progress instead of just effort. And don't get it twisted. Focus is a skill. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you resist the urge to scroll, every time you protect your deep work time, every time you follow through on your top priority, even when you don't feel like it, you're sharpening that skill. And over time, it becomes who you are. Someone who finishes what they start. Someone who doesn't just dream but executes. But here's the truth, most won't tell you, high performance requires hard choices. You can't say yes to everything. You can't be everywhere, do everything, please everyone, and still make something great. You've got to let some things go. You've got to disappoint a few people. You've got to say, I'm not available for that right now. Not because you're rude, but because you're focused. You've got to become unavailable to average. Your time is your most limited resource. You can get more money, more clients, more reach, but you will never get more time. So when you give it away to things that don't grow you, challenge you, or align with your mission, you're robbing your future. And that's not a small deal. That's everything. So the real question is, are you serious about your life or not? Because if you are, your calendar will reflect it. Your habits will reflect it. Your decisions will reflect it. People will see it in how you protect your mornings, in how you start your day with clarity, not chaos, in how you take control of your attention like it's sacred, because it is. And once you start showing up that way, once you start honoring your time like it's priceless, the world will respond differently. You'll get more done in 2 focused hours than most do in 2 distracted days. You'll stop chasing and start creating. You'll stop drowning in busyness and start dominating with clarity. And that clarity, that's where confidence is born, because nothing builds confidence like knowing you're making real progress. Nothing sharpens your mindset like seeing results. And nothing fuels your fire like realizing you are actually moving toward what you said you wanted. Not just talking about it, not just hoping for it, but building it, brick by brick, task by task, day by day. And let's be honest, your future isn't created someday. It's created today, in how you use the next hour, in what you choose to focus on after this video ends, in whether you fall back into old patterns or rise into a new standard, because that's what this is, a new standard. No more excuses, no more wasted days, no more settling for being busy. You are now operating on a different frequency, one where time is respected, where priorities are clear, where action is aligned, one where you don't need to do more, you just need to do what matters most, consistently. This is how you rise. This is how you lead. This is how you win, not by working more, but by working smarter, sharper, deeper, and with more purpose than ever before. So here's what you do right now. You sit down, you write your top 3 priorities, not your to-do list, your priorities, the things that actually move your life forward. You schedule time for them like they're sacred. You eliminate the rest. You stop lying to yourself about what's urgent, and you start honoring what's important. Because when you master your time, you master your life. The clock is still ticking, but this time, it's ticking for you. Let's get to work. Chapter 7. Maintain accountability by tracking progress and reviewing results regularly. If you don't measure your growth, you'll never know how far you've come or how far you still need to go. That's the brutal truth most people avoid. They keep moving, keep working, keep pushing, but they never stop to ask themselves, am I actually improving, or am I just staying busy to feel like I am? They don't track, they don't reflect, they don't evaluate, and because of that, they lose direction, they lose momentum, they lose the fire that comes from seeing real, undeniable progress. Imagine climbing a mountain, blindfolded. You can feel the effort. You know you're taking steps, but you have no idea how high you've climbed or how close you are to the peak. That's how most people live their lives. And it's why so many of them burn out, give up, or settle for average. Not because they weren't capable, but because they never tracked their progress long enough to realize they were winning. But not you. You're done flying blind. You're done guessing. You're ready to step into your power by holding yourself to a higher level of accountability, not through guilt, but through awareness. Not to punish yourself, but to grow with precision, because progress isn't random. It's not some mystery you unlock by accident. It's deliberate. It's calculated. It's measured. And when you commit to tracking your actions, your results, your habits, your effort, you take control of your transformation. Think about it. How would your life change if you knew, without question, that every day you were becoming stronger, sharper, more capable than you were yesterday? How would your energy shift if you could see, in black and white, how your discipline was stacking up, how your consistency was compounding, how your dreams were inching closer every time you showed up? That kind of clarity is addictive. It creates fuel. It builds confidence. It gives you proof that you're on the right track, or the honesty you need to adjust and get back in alignment. Either way, you win, because the moment you start measuring, you stop drifting. And here's the thing no one tells you: accountability is a form of self-respect. When you track your progress, you're telling yourself, I matter, my growth matters, my goals are worth monitoring, my habits are worth noticing. You shift from being someone who just talks about change to someone who lives it with intention. But let's go deeper. Most people fear accountability because it reveals the truth. It forces them to confront the gap between who they say they want to be and who they actually are. But that discomfort is the doorway to power, because when you face the truth, without excuses, without blame, you give yourself the opportunity to fix it. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. And that starts with one simple question: are my daily actions aligned with my ultimate vision? Yes or no? Not maybe, not sort of, not when I feel like it. Either you're on track, or you're not. And if you're not, the answer isn't shame, it's strategy. You look at the data, you learn, you adjust, you refocus. That's how champions operate. They don't guess. They gather evidence. They study themselves like a scientist, like an athlete, like someone who's serious about winning. Because you can't change what you don't measure. You can't improve what you don't understand. And you'll never reach your full potential if you're too scared to look at where you truly stand. But once you start, once you make tracking your standard and reviewing your results a weekly ritual, everything changes. You start recognizing patterns. You start seeing what works and what doesn't. You stop repeating mistakes. You start doubling down on habits that pay off. You begin to build momentum, not by luck, but by design. And that consistency, it starts to bleed into every area of your life. You stop making excuses for why things aren't working and start making adjustments to make them work. You stop outsourcing responsibility and start owning your results. You stop drifting through your days and start driving them forward with purpose. This isn't about tracking for the sake of tracking. This is about unlocking the clearest, most objective feedback loop you can create. It's about looking yourself in the mirror every day, every week, and saying, here's what I said I'd do. Did I do it or not? And then being bold enough to respond with action, because you're not fragile. You don't need to be coddled. You need to be challenged. You need to see the truth, because the truth sets you free, free to improve, to correct, to rise. And once you make accountability a habit, it becomes addictive. You start craving the feeling of alignment. You start chasing the satisfaction of closing the gap between intention and execution. You stop waiting for external praise, because your own evidence becomes your fuel. It's not about motivation anymore. It's about momentum. And momentum is earned, not given. You earn it every time you track your goals, every time you look at your habits and ask, are these helping or hurting me? Every time you review your week and say, where did I win? Where did I fall short? What will I do differently next time? That level of honesty will elevate you. It will separate you from the masses. Because most people don't want to do it. They don't want to face their own reflection. They don't want to look at the scoreboard of their life. So they stay stuck, pretending, performing, procrastinating. But not you. You're building something real. You're crafting a life with structure, with depth, with progress you can actually feel. And that comes from staying in the loop of execution, evaluation, elevation. That's the rhythm. That's the cycle. That's the formula. You execute your plan. You evaluate your results. Then you elevate your standards. And you repeat over and over again. You do that long enough, and you become unstoppable. And the best part, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. Because honesty creates growth. It removes delusion. It strips away the lies we tell ourselves when we're trying to avoid the truth. And once that fog clears, once you see exactly where you are, then and only then can you move forward with real power. So ask yourself right now, do I know how I'm performing? Do I have a system to track my effort, my progress, my discipline? Am I reviewing my results weekly? Or am I just hoping things are working? Hope is not a strategy. Accountability is, because at the end of the day, success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. And the only way to maintain consistency is by keeping score. It's not about beating anyone else. It's about beating who you were yesterday. It's about competing with your own potential. And every time you track, you give yourself the advantage. Every time you reflect, you refine. Every time you review, you realign. That's the edge. That's the difference maker. So starting now, you build your system. You write your goals clearly. You track your inputs daily. You review your outcomes weekly. You stay brutally honest with yourself, not to judge, but to grow. You set the standard. You measure your actions. You stay accountable. And you rise. That's how you take control. That's how you get better. That's how you win. So don't just get inspired. Get organized. Don't just get motivated. Get methodical. Because your dreams are too important to leave to chance. Track them. Review them. Improve them. Live them. Let the world see what it looks like when someone commits to progress and proves it. This is your moment. Start today. And don't stop until the scoreboard of your life reads victory. Chapter 8. Embrace discipline by establishing routines that support your goals. The reason your life isn't changing is because your days all look the same. Let that sink in. You want a better body, a sharper mind, deeper peace, more success, but you're waking up every day, reacting, drifting, winging it. No structure, no rhythm, just chasing motivation like it's supposed to magically carry you to the life you dream about. But it never will, because motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire, and that fire is only built when your routines are designed to serve your goals. This is where most people lose, not because they lack ambition, but because they never shape their environment or their habits to match that ambition. They talk about what they want, they visualize it, they hope for it, but when it comes to creating routines that reinforce those desires, they fall short. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But I'll tell you why. Your life is a reflection of what you repeat, not what you wish for, not what you intend, what you consistently do. So if your daily actions contradict your deepest goals, you're in a war with yourself, and discipline is the only weapon that wins that war. You don't rise to your dreams. You fall to your systems. You default to your routines. And if those routines are weak, reactive, and disorganized, so will your results be. So ask yourself, do your current routines deserve the life you say you want? Are you living in a way that makes your goals inevitable, or are you living in a way that makes your goals impossible? Discipline isn't about suffering, it's about freedom. It's not a punishment, it's a tool, a bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Without it, you stay stuck in cycles, starting, stopping, overthinking, and never breaking through. With it you create momentum that carries you through the hard days, through the low motivation, through the chaos. But it starts with clarity. What exactly do you want? And what kind of person do you need to become to get it? Not just in theory, but in practice. What does that person do every morning? How do they handle distractions? How do they treat their body, their time, their focus? Now look at your current routines. Do they align? If not, that's your problem, not your mindset, not your goals, not your intelligence. Your structure is failing you. And when structure fails, even the most talented, most motivated, most passionate people collapse. But that's good news, because structure is within your control. You can change your routines starting now. You can architect your days so they pull you forward instead of holding you back. Discipline is built in the trenches of repetition. It's not something you get, it's something you do, daily. And the more you do it, the less willpower it takes. That's the beautiful part. At first it feels hard, foreign, friction heavy, but over time it becomes part of you. Automatic, natural, effortless. You start waking up and doing the hard things without hesitation, not because they're easy, but because they've become normal. That's the goal, to normalize greatness, to make high standards your baseline. And that only happens when your routines match the level of life you're trying to create. You don't become disciplined by accident. You become disciplined by design, by building routines that eliminate decision fatigue, that create momentum before your brain can talk you out of it, that turn your goals into non-negotiables instead of vague intentions. And the truth is, most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they haven't built systems that make discipline easier. They rely on emotion instead of structure. They try to feel their way to success instead of designing their days around it. But the greats, the ones who transform, evolve, and dominate their lane, they're not winging it. They've built rituals that lock them in, routines that anchor them, systems that make discipline automatic. They don't need motivation to show up. They just show up because it's who they are. And that's the key. You don't wait to feel like the person you want to become. You start living like them now. You reverse engineer your routines around the identity you're stepping into. And that means letting go of convenience, letting go of comfort, letting go of every lazy habit that sabotages your future. Because every time you skip the gym, every time you sleep in, every time you procrastinate, you're reinforcing the identity of the person you're trying to leave behind. But every time you wake up on time, every time you follow through, every time you push through the resistance, you're casting a vote for the new version of you. And enough votes will make that identity permanent. This is why routines matter. They're not just tasks, they're declarations. Every routine you follow says, "This is who I am now." So if your routines say you're disciplined, focused, intentional, your life will follow. But if your routines say you're scattered, lazy, reactive, your life will reflect that too. The results never lie. They always echo your patterns. So don't just wish for discipline. Don't wait for it. Build it. One morning at a time, one decision at a time, one win at a time. And make no mistake, discipline is built in the small moments. When you want to hit snooze but get up anyway. When you want to scroll but choose to study. When you want to quit but choose to finish. Those are the moments that shape you. And the more of them you win, the easier the next one becomes. Because discipline compounds. It builds on itself. One strong day fuels the next. One productive morning sets the tone for the week. One focused routine rewires your identity. And when your identity shifts, everything else follows. You start expecting more from yourself. You start tolerating less nonsense. You stop making excuses and start making progress. You stop blaming circumstances and start building systems. You stop needing to feel ready and start acting like it's already done. That's the transformation. That's the power of disciplined routines. They create a container for greatness, a rhythm for progress, a blueprint for consistency. And once you step into that rhythm, everything becomes easier, not because life is easier, but because you've become stronger. So look at your life right now. Where are the leaks in your discipline? What parts of your day are being wasted? What routines are weakening your momentum? Identify them, then replace them with structure, with strategy, with rituals that support your vision instead of sabotaging it. Wake up earlier, set intentions, protect your time, eliminate distractions, prioritize recovery, fuel your body, guard your focus, sharpen your skills. End the day with reflection. These aren't just productivity tips. These are acts of self-respect, of self-mastery. They're the daily proof that you're serious about leveling up. And here's the most important part. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be intentional. Because one intentional day leads to another. And over time, those days build a life you're proud of. So don't underestimate the power of a simple, repeatable routine. It's not boring. It's the gateway to everything you've ever wanted. Because when your habits align with your goals, success becomes inevitable. That's the magic. That's the truth. That's the challenge. Design your life like it matters. Structure your day like your future depends on it. Show up for yourself like you're building something legendary. Because you are. Now go. Build your discipline. Establish your routines. Live your vision. And never let your comfort zone dictate your future again. Let your days reflect your destiny. Let your routines reinforce your greatness. Let your discipline create your freedom. Start now, and don't stop until the life you live matches the life you've imagined. This is your time. Let your routines prove it. Chapter 9. Seek feedback continuously to refine skills and improve performance. You will never reach your full potential if you don't get the feedback you need. The uncomfortable truth is that no one has ever achieved greatness without someone pointing out where they're falling short. Whether you like it or not, feedback is the key to unlocking the next level of your life. And yet, most people run from it. They avoid it. They pretend that they're fine, that they don't need any outside perspective. But that's a lie. The truth is, feedback is the fuel for your growth. Without it, you'll stay stuck, circling the same place, never moving forward. Now imagine this. You're working tirelessly toward your goals. You're grinding every day, pushing yourself harder than ever. You think you're on the right track, but after months of effort, you look around and see little to no progress. Why is that? Why do you feel like you're running in circles? The answer is simple. You've been working without the guidance you need. You've been assuming you're doing everything right, but without feedback, you have no way of knowing where you're going wrong. You're blindly trying to improve, but the road to excellence doesn't work that way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to be willing to listen, to seek feedback, and to use that feedback to push yourself forward. That's the difference between success and stagnation. The people who reach their fullest potential aren't necessarily the smartest or most talented. They're the ones who understand that growth requires constant feedback, constant refinement, and constant effort to evolve. They're the ones who actively seek out people who will challenge them, people who will point out their blind spots, people who will tell them where they need to improve. The reality is, the world is full of distractions, full of noise. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle, convinced that if you just keep working harder, you'll eventually get there. But here's the thing, working harder doesn't always work. You can't simply grind your way to success. If you're doing the wrong things or heading in the wrong direction, you'll just wear yourself out. The secret to real growth is in seeking constant feedback, and not just any feedback, the kind that challenges you, that forces you to face your weaknesses, and helps you identify where you're missing the mark. Think about it this way. Feedback is like a map when you're lost in the wilderness. You can wander aimlessly, hoping to find your way, but without a map, you're more likely to get deeper into the woods, farther from your destination. But with the map, you can see exactly where you are, where you need to go, and what's standing in your way. Feedback is that map. It helps you see where you're off course, what needs to change, and what adjustments will lead you to your desired outcome. It's the tool that takes you from being a wandering dreamer to someone who is actively crafting their success, step by step. So, if you're serious about leveling up, you need to stop being afraid of feedback. You need to seek it out at every turn, in every situation, and from every person who can help you grow. Whether it's your mentor, a colleague, a friend, or even a stranger with a fresh perspective, feedback is the mirror you need to see yourself clearly. And the more you look into that mirror, the more you'll understand how to adjust and evolve. Feedback isn't always comfortable. It's not always easy to hear, especially when it reveals things you'd rather not admit about yourself. But that's precisely why it's so powerful. Because if you're only hearing what you want to hear, you're not growing. Growth requires discomfort. It requires confronting your weaknesses and facing your limitations head on. But that's how you build resilience. That's how you become better. The key to receiving feedback is humility. You have to let go of your ego and recognize that you don't know everything. You don't have all the answers, and that's okay. When you can accept that, you open yourself up to real progress. You stop pretending that you have it all figured out, and you start actually getting better. You stop seeing feedback as a personal attack and start seeing it for what it is, a tool to help you become the person you're capable of being. But here's where most people go wrong. They ask for feedback, but they're not really ready to hear it. They might say, "Please, tell me what I need to improve," but when the feedback comes in, they get defensive. They argue, make excuses, or ignore the advice altogether. This is a trap. You can't ask for feedback and then reject it when it doesn't fit your narrative. The most successful people in the world aren't afraid of negative feedback. They thrive on it. They know it's the only way to get better, to break through their own limitations, and to accelerate their growth. Once you start accepting feedback, you need to act on it. This is where many people fall short. They ask for feedback, they receive it, and then they do nothing with it. Or worse, they only implement the easy suggestions that don't really challenge them. True growth comes from taking the difficult feedback, the feedback that makes you uncomfortable, and putting it into action. It's about making those changes, no matter how hard they might be. It's about looking at the feedback, identifying the patterns, and then making adjustments that will make you stronger, sharper, and more focused. The best part of feedback is that it's not just for professional success. It applies to every area of your life. Whether it's your relationships, your fitness, or your personal growth, Feedback is the key to unlocking your true potential. In relationships, feedback helps you see how your actions affect others. In fitness, feedback helps you see where your routine is lacking and where you can push yourself harder. In personal development, feedback helps you identify areas where you're holding yourself back. It helps you break through your self-imposed limits and become the person you were always meant to be. But here's the hard truth. You won't always get the feedback you want. Not everyone will be kind. Not everyone will be gentle. Sometimes the feedback will sting. It will cut deep. But if you can learn to embrace it, to take it in stride, and to use it as a tool for growth, you'll come out stronger on the other side. And when you do, you'll realize that the very thing you once feared, the feedback, is the thing that helped you grow the most. In every area of your life, whether you're trying to level up in your career, improve your health, or create deeper, more meaningful relationships, feedback is the golden key. It's the one thing that will propel you forward when you feel stuck, when you feel like you're not making any progress. It's the thing that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. But you have to be willing to seek it, accept it, and act on it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to grow. And growth is a constant process. It never stops. So every day, seek feedback. Every day, ask for it. Every day, listen to it. And every day, take action based on it. That's how you'll become the best version of yourself. That's how you'll level up. That's how you'll move from where you are to where you truly want to be. Now ask yourself, what areas of your life could use some feedback? Where are you holding yourself back because you're too afraid to hear the truth? Seek that feedback, embrace it, act on it, and watch yourself grow. If you're ready to break through your limits and reach your fullest potential, it's time to stop pretending that you don't need feedback. You do. We all do. So start seeking it today and let it guide you to the next level. This is your moment. Your feedback is waiting. It's time to act. Chapter 10. Visualize success daily to strengthen motivation and clear purpose. You are more powerful than you realize. But if you want to see that power unleashed in your life, you need to start seeing the success you want to create every single day. Right now, you might be looking at your circumstances, your present situation, and thinking, how can I get from here to where I want to be? The answer is simple. Visualize it. Visualization is not just some feel-good trick or technique. It is a potent, scientifically proven tool that rewires your brain, aligns your subconscious with your desires, and creates the mental clarity you need to take massive action. When you visualize your success, you're not just imagining it, you're programming your mind to go after it every single day. You're creating a crystal clear vision of your goals that will drive you, that will fuel your motivation when things get tough, and that will keep you focused on what truly matters. But here's the key. It's not enough to visualize success once and expect everything to change. It's about making it a daily practice. Every day, you need to see your success, feel it, believe it. The more often you do this, the clearer your vision becomes, and the more real your success feels. The more real it feels, the more motivated you become to do the work that will make it a reality. Success isn't just something you aim for in the future, it's something you live every day through your thoughts, actions, and mindset. If you want to know how to stay motivated when life gets hard, how to keep pushing forward when you feel like giving up, and how to stay focused on your goals even when everything seems uncertain, it all starts with visualization. When you see your success clearly in your mind, it becomes impossible not to take the necessary steps to bring it to life. Your motivation, your drive, your sense of purpose, all of these are powered by the images you create in your mind. When your mind sees success, your body and actions follow. Imagine for a moment that you're sitting in the middle of a room and you're surrounded by everything you've ever dreamed of. You're living your dream life. Everything you've ever worked for has come true. You have the career you've always wanted, the relationships you've always craved, and the personal growth you've been striving for. Can you see it? Can you feel the emotions that come with that success? The pride, the joy, the fulfillment. That's what you need to visualize every single day. Not just when you're feeling low, but in those moments when you're feeling unstoppable too. Your mind is incredibly powerful. Every thought you have creates a ripple effect in your life. Your thoughts influence your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your results. So, when you visualize success, you're sending a clear signal to your mind that this is your reality. Your mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It simply reacts to what you feed it. And when you feed it images of success, it gets to work on turning those images into reality. But it doesn't stop there. The more vividly you can see your success, the more your actions will align with that vision. Imagine yourself waking up every day, knowing exactly what you're working towards. Every task, every decision, every step you take is in service of that vision. You'll begin to notice opportunities that you didn't see before, because your mind is now focused on achieving your goal. You'll find yourself working harder, smarter, and with greater purpose. You won't need to force motivation. It will flow naturally, because your vision will be so clear that it will pull you forward, like a magnet. Now you might be thinking, okay, I understand the power of visualization, but how do I make it work for me? How do I actually visualize in a way that drives results? It's simple. First, you need to be specific. The more detailed your vision, the more powerful it becomes. Don't just imagine success in broad terms. Don't just think, I want to be successful. What does success look like for you? What do you want your life to look like? What kind of person do you want to become? Break it down. Imagine yourself in the life you want. See the success in every aspect: your career, your health, your relationships, your personal growth. Visualize every detail, from the way you feel when you wake up in the morning to the way you celebrate your achievements at the end of the day. Second, make it emotional. The more emotions you can attach to your vision, the stronger it becomes. Feel the joy, the pride, the fulfillment. Feel the excitement of achieving your goals. Feel the sense of accomplishment, the relief of knowing that all your hard work has paid off. The emotions you feel when you visualize your success are what fuel your drive to take action. When you feel emotionally connected to your vision, it becomes a burning desire that propels you forward. Third, visualize with consistency. This isn't something you do once and forget about. This is something you make a daily habit. Start each day by visualizing your success. Close your eyes and see yourself living the life you want to create. Picture yourself accomplishing your goals. See the obstacles you will face, and picture yourself overcoming them. Visualize the feelings you'll experience when you achieve what you've been working toward. Do this every morning, every evening, and as often as you can throughout the day. Over time, your mind will become more and more attuned to your vision, and your actions will align with it. But there's more. Visualization is also about preparing yourself for challenges. When you visualize success, you're not just seeing the end result, you're also mentally rehearsing the obstacles that might come your way. This is critical. You see, many people fail because they don't anticipate the challenges they'll face on the path to success. They see only the end goal, and when the inevitable struggles arise, they're blindsided. But if you visualize your success, you can also visualize the bumps in the road. You can mentally prepare for the difficulties and see yourself pushing through them. You'll be ready for anything that comes your way because you've already rehearsed your success in your mind. Visualization is also an act of faith. It's you declaring to the universe that you are ready for success, that you are worthy of it, and that you believe in your ability to achieve it. This is crucial. Without belief in your vision, it will never become reality. You have to truly believe that your success is inevitable. And when you believe in your success, your actions, your mindset, and your approach will reflect that belief. You might be wondering how long it will take for this to start working. The truth is, there's no exact timeline, but the more consistently you visualize, the faster you'll start seeing results. It's not about waiting for success to come to you. It's about preparing yourself, strengthening your mind, and aligning your actions with your vision. Success won't just happen to you. It will happen because you've actively created the mental conditions for it. So let me ask you this. What would happen if you visualized your success every day without fail? What would happen if you saw your goals so clearly that every step you took moved you closer to that vision? What would happen if your motivation was driven by a burning belief in your inevitable success? It's time to stop waiting for success to find you. It's time to start visualizing it, believing in it, and living it.